What's up, guys? We bought this house last week for $67,685 all in with closing costs. It is worth over $155,000. We only have to do an $11,000 remodel. So in today's video, I'm going to show you guys how we got this deal at such a good price and what we are and are not doing to get that $155,000 remodel. And yes, by the end of this, when we cash out refi, we will be pulling out over $30,000 more than we put in on a cash out refi, still own the property, still cash flow. So let me show you how we do it. All right, so first of all, how did we find this deal? It wasn't on the MLS, it wasn't on Zillow, it wasn't a for sale by owner, it wasn't from a realtor or a wholesaler. We found this deal using direct mail marketing, but specifically homeowners with low equity. Why low equity? If you've been on YouTube for any period of time trying to learn how to find discounted off-market deals, you've probably heard a lot about high equity lists. As in, if you are gonna target finding off-market deals, a lot of wholesaling gurus and real estate gurus will tell you, call the high equity list, high equity vacant, high equity absentee, tired landlords. We mailed a massive list of people who had pretty good sized mortgages left on it. If you follow Pace Morby or have looked into subject to, you're probably thinking this was a subject to deal. Now the intent, we were looking to get some subject to deals. That's not our bread and butter strategy. Typically we like to just buy at a discount in cash, remodel in cash, and refinance on the back end. However, we decided to try something different and market to people with mortgages. Now, even though this property still had a good sized mortgage on it, we did not do a subject to transaction. Here's why. We initially were going after this deal as subject to, but when it came down to closing, the seller had some issues with keeping it on their credit and they needed it off their credit in order for them to close on the next house they were getting. So with that, we renegotiated with them, and instead of doing subject to where we take over their mortgage, we just bought the property for the remaining balance on their mortgage. It was like $64,000 and some change. And then with the closing cost and fees, our total's $67,600. So it wasn't subject to, but we got it for the price of their mortgage. So they just wanted to get out from under their mortgage so they could buy their next residence. So the first part of this deal, and the most important part of this deal, is the purchase price. A lot of investors discount the amount of effort they need to put into for sourcing their deals. But I'm telling you, the more deals you look at, the greater your deals will be. If you are relying just on one wholesaler to send you deals, when they send you a deal, it might be a bad deal and you'll jump on it. So this deal, that's the first win, was the purchase price we got it at. That is, I would say, 90% of what makes this a great deal is how we sourced it and the price we bought it for. We bought as you can see, it's in pretty good shape, a $150,000 home for $67,000, and we helped the seller out so they can get to a better situation financially. Now, that is the first part of this deal. That's how we found it. We spend about $5,000 a month on mailing. You do not need to spend that much. Honestly, start with a budget of $1,000 with very well-written letters that have a bit more uniqueness than the generic ones. For the remodel, I talk about it all the time, and I am going to make this a term that real estate investors use. We did an appraiser optimized remodel. An appraiser optimized remodel to us is to make the property look new to the touch, be durable, and then be safe, clean, and reliable for the tenant. So cosmetics, but not overdoing it. We're not changing floor plans. We're not adding unique materials. We're not trying to make it stand out to list it on the MLS and sell it as a flip. We're trying to, see, when the appraiser comes out to the property, when we want to get that $155K ARV, he's gonna look at the properties that are selling for that price. What do they look like? And in our market, those properties that we're selling don't look that much nicer. So we don't need to do too much to this property. The biggest things we'll do for the kitchen specifically is granite countertops. This is like that fake granite. I hate it. I don't remember the word is. Comment below. Antonio corrects me on it all the time. We'll do real granite or quartz. We get it for like $800 a slab for quartz or granite, depending on what our supplier has. Cabinets we will paint and add the nice new little handles from Amazon. We'll do a new fan. Appliances, we will leave alone. They are functional, they're not visually distressed. Most of the stuff with essential systems and appliances you get dinged from an appraiser for are if they are visually distressed or over 10 years old. With that, we'll leave these alone. So that's the kitchen for this appraiser optimized remodel. And again, $800 a slab, this kitchen is gonna cost very little. And the total, here's the scope of work. If you wanna pause the video, by the way. Here's the scope of work. All in on the kitchen. It's gonna be sub $2,000 to make this place look amazing in the kitchen. And again, this place's core systems are fine. Plumbing is fine, electrical is fine. It just needs topical stuff, cosmetic stuff like this. Now, an interesting thing with this house, it's got this extension that I swear is just to make us short kings feel better about ourselves. but it counts as square footage. This is technically square footage. It is not a bedroom. A bedroom has to have a closet and a window to be classified as a bedroom. So this is just additional square footage. It's kind of like a little sunroom, living room. It was added on kind of poorly. It doesn't look that good in my opinion on the outside. The siding is a bit rough. But anyways, for extra square footage in the appraisal, it'll help. For Section 8, it will not help. Section 8, extra square footage doesn't really benefit you unless it's an actual extra bedroom or bathroom. So really this is just square footage for the sake of square footage. With that in here, the biggest line item will be this flooring. All this flooring, we're gonna go with LVP flooring. LVP flooring, we get for about $1 square foot by sourcing with local suppliers and getting like clearance stuff. $1 to $1.50 for materials good for LVP. LVP flooring summarizes our mentality with remodels. It looks decent, okay? If you source a little bit more unique colors, not just the most generic landlord gray, but you get LVP flooring and it'll look new compared to most rentals in our market at least. It'll look new, it'll feel new, and it's durable. So LVP flooring embodies our mentality with remodels. New to the eye, new to the touch, and it's safe, clean, and reliable. It's not like hardwood, we gotta worry about, smells being stuck in there, but LVP flooring, paint, we always do bare, and for any like weird smells that are stuck in houses, Kills Paint and Primer will handle that. It's real easy. Guys come in with a paint sprayer to just rip it through the entire house, and any houses, even if they're in really good condition, we do a fresh coat of paint. It really helps a ton. So stuff like this helps a ton as far as standing out on the rental market, and that's how we're able to get places rented so quickly in our market. If you're running comps on your property and you see some new build renting for $1,000 a month, and you have your landlord special house and you're thinking it's gonna rent for the same as those new builds, you're gonna be disappointed. It needs to, when you're running rent comps, look at the condition of the properties renting in your market and then look at your rental. You need to match or go above. In our market, single family houses are extremely undersupplied, and the quality of those houses are terrible because the slumlords in our market have never, they don't need to, if it's a single family house, there's such high demand, they don't need to make it nice. So for us, just by adding lipstick to it and making sure the essential systems are good, we are above the standard and it's already in high demand. So that's why our stuff flies off the shelf. And also for getting like Section 8 approval, Section 8 likes working with us because we put the effort into our remodels. Stuff like this, just real cheap handles from Amazon, and painting it looks like a new house. And yes, I know the mentality is not the same as a flip. And so throughout the entire house, just paint LVP flooring. That is going to make the biggest difference on making this house feel fresh and new. So when the appraiser walks in here, he's like, oh wow, these guys did a full remodel. With that, the kitchen and bathrooms are the two biggest areas that I have found the appraisers give you points for or penalize you for. So with bathrooms, here are the most essential things to do. Showers. Always, 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 always do tile showers. Big gray modern tiles we like to use. And if you can, glass shower doors, new shower kit. See, if you use those plastic shower kits from Home Depot, not only is the appraiser gonna roll his eyes at you, but your tenants, it's not gonna rent as quickly if you have a little grainy photo of a yellow tinged shower kit, no matter what market you're in. In my experience, when I was managing our properties, the properties that always flew off the shelf were the ones that had a real sexy shower. And I'd make that the first picture on Zillow, because for me, I just know when I was looking for a rental, if I saw a sexy shower, I'd be like, I want that rental now. And same thing seems to happen in our market. People see a sexy shower and they want that place. So not only will it help with the tenant side of things, the appraiser recognizes it, and you always get points for a tile shower, glass shower door, at least in our experience. Every market's a little different. That's just what works for us. And then for this stuff, vanities are cheap. We get a new vanity on Amazon for like 200 bucks. It adds a little pop. You can find some unique ones. You can find some fun ones. And again, yes, the appraiser sees that and says, yep, these fellas did a full remodel. I believe them. And then the tenants see it and think, hey, I'm moving into a new house. Mirrors from Amazon, just that little accessory stuff just makes it look more modern, gets you more points with the appraiser. Same thing with the lights. Like these ones are a bit rusted. These ones are a bit rusty, so we'll do new LED lights. And then fixtures throughout the entire house. It's a small touch, but it adds up to the overall attitude you'll get from the appraiser. So stuff like fixtures, light switches, switch covers, outlet covers, those details add up. You can get real cheap on Amazon, super easy. You order it to the job site, guys throw it in there. It costs you very little, and it really enhances the quality, the overall picture of the property when the appraiser walks in. In our experience with appraisers, if they feel like you did a slumlord special, they will roll their eyes at you because you're making their job more difficult. They have investors all the time pressuring them. They have lenders pressuring them like, hey, wink, wink, I want this place worth more. And then they're dropped a property with a half-assed remodel, and a lot of the things were left 20 years old or untouched or just poorly done. And then they have the investor and lender being like, hey, come on, it's worth this much. Then they have to look at those new ones and they don't compare. So with that, appraisers, especially if you're in an investor market, will give you brownie points and the benefit of the doubt if you put the effort in on the remodel. In our experience with appraisers, the ones I've gotten to speak to, they appreciate it when you do a thorough remodel because it makes the justification on their end for the comps you're pushing them to give easier. It's nothing fraudulent at all. But if you're sending an appraiser your comps and your property doesn't look like your comps, and then you're pressuring the appraiser to give you the value of those comps, you're gonna be disappointed and the appraiser's not gonna be on your side. So all our best appraisals have always been when we overdid it on the remodel. 2 years ago, we probably would have taken this house, done absolutely nothing, rent it, and sent it over to our lender and be like, come on, let's refinance it, it's worth this much. And then we'd have so much back and forth with the appraiser and underwriting, trying to get it refinanced, and it'd be a 3-month process of fighting with them and not getting the value we wanted. And at the very end of it, we ended up just cashing out less than we wanted and getting a crappy appraisal. And now, just spend a little bit more and be a little bit more thorough on the remodel, and the whole refinance process will be easier. Owning the property long-term will be easier, management will be easier, and you won't regret it. It's also why you as an investor are responsible for buying at the right price, because if you buy it at the right price, it's not as big of a deal to spend the proper amount on the remodel to make it properly done. If you overspend on the purchase price, you're gonna be more likely to cut corners, and then you'll have a crappier appraisal and a crappier time owning it. So please take away from this video, invest more in finding discounted off-market deals, make an offer a day on deals, and if you buy right, you can do a more thorough remodel. When you do a thorough remodel, you get a better appraisal. When you get a better appraisal, you more reliably pull out your cash. And when you do a thorough remodel with the essential systems, management long-term is much easier. If you're trying to scale to 100 plus doors, you cut corners on 100 plus doors, it's gonna be a pain owning that portfolio. So buy right at the right price, don't cut corners, and your investment career will be much more forgiving. Anyways, this is a property for our portfolio. We did not sell it to an investor. However, if you do want to do a deal with us like this, we'll literally bring you into our market, meet our team, invest with us. It's not like Grant Cardone's thing. We're not just gonna take your money. We literally like, hey, you like this deal? All right, it's yours, we'll do the remodel. That's our offer. If you'd be interested in something like that, click below. Otherwise, if you wanna learn how we market and find our deals, join our school community, or subscribe to me on YouTube. I talk about our marketing. And anyways, thanks for watching. Bye guys.